Now, remember, I could do the exact same thing here. I'm going to do this a little differently, though, over here, because I want to show you yet another way. So there's 3 ways to make formulas. I'm going to highlight that whole section, including the cell where I want the total to show. I'm going to hit AutoSum. Voila, it knew exactly what to do. Now, if I click, whoops, I guess I better get plugged in. If I click in this cell, hopefully, it will show me up here in the formula. This is the formula bar. This is the name box. It will show me what my formula looks like. And I'm happy with that. And this is a little alert box that says, is this what you want to do? And it's saying there's cells that are currently empty. Well, yeah, there are, because I don't have these expenses this second pay period. So now we've got to do a little more math here to figure this one out. But I'm going to show you yet another way to create another formula, because now we have to come up here, take this total, and subtract this one, and this is going to be our remainder here. So in this cell, I'm going to hit the equal sign. I'm going to click into this cell to pick that one, and then I'm going to say minus, and click this cell, and there's my formula. D7 minus D19, that makes sense to me. Hit enter, and it takes. Now, I could do the exact same thing over here, or I can just copy that formula, and because I know Excel knows how to make a relative cell reference, I'm going to paste it in there, and voila. I can check it to make sure. Oh, stop doing that. That's me, being half PC, half Apple. I can check it to make sure that it's doing the right thing, which it is, and I'm happy with that. Now, I can go on and complete the rest of my formulas. I'm just going to use AutoSum to do this because to me that's a little easier. I want that. And then here, use AutoSum again. This is for totaling, adding things. It's not going to work when you've got to put other complicated formulas in. Now, one other thing I want to show you quickly before I move on is this $ here is identifying that this is in dollars. Well, I don't really like that up there. It just doesn't look right. So I'm going to select all these, and I'm going to tell it to be in an accounting number format, which puts the $ in the right place. And there we go. Now I don't have to worry about it being in the wrong format. That's awesome. Okay, now I got to get another remainder here, and this remainder is going to be the difference between what I had left over and my second subtotal of discretionary expenses. I know that's a joke, but so I'm going to use my equal sign. I'm going to click here, say minus, click here, enter, done. I can just copy and paste this formula here, done. Excel is doing so much of the work for me, I never have to pick up a calculator. Okay, over here, we want to calculate what our salary is. So just in case your hours change in the week, you can still calculate what your income should be. Or let's say you get a raise. So you want to be able to make this adjustable, not based on the numbers, but based on the cell references. So the first thing we would do here is create a formula that's going to multiply the 11.925 per hour times 40 hours per week. That makes sense, I think, right? And I would go ahead and do that right now, but the problem is I've got this text in with my numbers that's going to mess that up. It's not going to be able to calculate that, and I can show you that if you want to see that. This times this, yeah, it kicks it out. It doesn't understand. So what we have to do is we have to think ahead when we create our spreadsheets, and I want to get this little bit of text out of here because it's just not going to work, and it needs to come out. And if I stick it in the cell next to it, this all still looks perfectly fine, but my numbers are separated from my letters, and that's really what I wanted. Okay, now these cells are probably right aligned, and it's the same thing as in Excel, aligning your text in a cell. It's the same thing as in Word, I'm sorry. So there's that, and then I've got to get my text out of here as well. So I'm doing that. Now, this formula here, $477 a week on 40 hours, that's not a lot of money. This formula here is going to be the 477 times 2. So I'm going to stick that in, click here, get my times, and that cell reference, hit enter. That's how much I'm getting every 2 weeks. Now I've got to deduct out the taxes, the 20% of taxes. Well, I could take the $945 and make it times 20, and then that's going to give me how much I need to deduct. But if I do the reverse of that, I can just figure it out straight. And this is a math thing you guys will have to figure out because I can't explain it here. But basically, what's going to happen is you're going to take this number and multiply it times 0.8, the reverse, to get to extract the 20%. So now we're just getting the straight figure. Hit the enter key, and voila, we're starting to look like what our paychecks actually are up here. Now there's a little bit of a problem. Our decimal place is not in the right place, so now we want to add a decimal place to this, or two maybe. So I'm going, and I can never remember how this works. Every time I do it, I guess I need to be in the cell. Every time I do it, I think I just take a chance and go, okay, which one is it? I don't know why. It's just one of those mental blocks I have over this. So I'm adding decimal places to each of these because really that's the way they need to be formatted in order to come out right. Now there's our 760. To make things even easier, we want to reference this value, not the formula, but the value. We want to reference that here. So any changes we make here in this data automatically adjusts our income here. Wouldn't that be nice? So there's two ways I can do that. I can copy. Now this time I'm going to paste, but I'm going to paste special. And in my paste special, I don't want everything from that cell. I don't want the formulas. I only want the value. So I tell it to only place the value there, and voila, that's what it's going to do. However, it's not directly linked, and I want to link this to this cell. So any changes I make to this data here will automatically adjust here and here as well. So what I really want to do then is I want to click into this cell. I want to get rid of this data. And here's a tool that is not readily available in this version. So what I'm going to tell you is if you right-click on a cell on a PC, you will find a tool that says Clear Contents, and then it will just clear the contents from the cell. It won't change the formatting or anything else. It'll just clear the contents. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with making a formula, and I'm going to reference this cell. Come on, reference that cell. There we go. And that's where I'm stopping. So this is a formula, but it's only a cell reference formula. So I hit enter. Now if I come in here, it's always going to reference the value in this cell, which is what we wanted. So now I'm going to do the same thing here. Now I can copy and paste. I'm just going to do it this way. And reference the cell and hit enter. Okay, so now if 1 week I happen to work 20 hours, it not only changes the amount here, but it makes that adjustment here. And yikes, I'm going to be in big trouble if that happens. So I know I can't work under 20 hours. However, if I got a raise to say $15 an hour, which would be sweet, I just enter that there. And the adjustments are made here and here and here and everywhere else, all down through. So it changed my bottom line everywhere. Now, notice, you probably focused in on this right away. What is happening there? Well, the calculations are still coming out okay, so it's not anything that has to do with the calculations. What it is this column is not wide enough to fit the data that's in that cell, and that's what that's telling me. If I double click on that edge, it should automatically adjust it to the appropriate cell width, which it didn't do. It didn't do that last night either. I don't know why on this particular one. Maybe because of the it's fitting it to the widest point there. Anyway, that's how you fix that. And you can, I just showed you, you can drag these column headers on the right side back and forth, and you always stick to the right side because obviously it wouldn't make sense to be able to do both sides. And same thing with row headers. You can adjust the height